Okay, quick message. I look a mess, but it's okay. I am doing a lot of studying that I am super excited about. I'm getting back into solidifying everything that I want to build in my life, and I'm so happy. But I wanted to take a message, or I wanted to take a second, not take a message. I wanted to take a second to go over two placements that I think people might, or one placement. And actually, well, let's just get into it so it doesn't get confusing. Let's talk about discipline. So I actually, in my birth chart, have what's called Saturn conjunct Venus. Now, a lot of people think that Saturn or Capricorns in general are overly disciplined or maybe have this angle of constantly wanting to build to the point where people are like, oh my gosh, why can't you be fun? This placement made me really bothered because sometimes people would say to me oh my God, she's not fun, or they would see me in whatever direction I was going and be like, she's so overly focused, she doesn't want to hang out with us, or they think I'm disinterested or whatever. And then I was like, let me channel this in and kind of process this out. Well, number one, in my Rasi chart, in my D1 chart or natal chart or birth chart or however you look at it, I have what's called Shravana rising, which is a Capricorn rising. So to everybody else, they could see on the outside that I'm like this, but let me explain the coolest thing about something that I never realized until I dived into what's called my Navamsa chart, which is kind of like a progressive chart before Vedic Astrology. One of the coolest things that I learned is discipline is so much fun. Now, I know some people are like, what? But think about it. I'm just going to challenge your mind for a second, okay? Now, I said I have Saturn and Venus conjunct, right, in the Navamsa of the fourth house, all right? What that means is that I actually see beautifying and see creating as a sense of joy for myself, specifically in the home or creating things in the home. Now, anyone that's been to my house knows I love designing stuff. And if you've ever been to Ponder, you know that I'm obsessed with making things look connective. Even when it comes to how I do my hair, how I do, not my hair, but I mean my hair as well, but how I do my clients' hair, how I do my clients' makeup. I'm so big on taking the color wheel and connecting warmth to cool, shapes that connect to each other, making them into enjoyable designs. I really like creating different looks out of different styles of palettes and taking things from the universe that are completely opposite natures, colliding them together and seeing how they will create an even canvas of something that's more magical. That's what I love to do. Does that necessarily mean that it's not fun? No, it's extreme fun. But that is what people confuse, is that building something can absolutely be fun. And Saturn is all about building. Saturn is all about concrete stabilizing, creating foundations, making sure things are having a strong foundation on top of that, right? I know that I've said in previous videos that it takes about 30 years for concrete to truly cure. And so it really is about building a good arch so that way if there's any type of battle towards that arch, you have true protection. And another way to understand that, I also included this in another video, is for anyone that gets their nails done. If you look at the way your nail is created, it's actually created with an arch. And the whole point is that combat, if you actually look at architecture, when anything tries to combat with it, it actually has the ability to hold structure so that way it can't be defeated. I think that's awesome. So why not create art that holds a structure that cannot be defeated, but can be morphed into something more and more magical, and to stand firm to where, which is the other things that I've said in videos. Now I'm going a little advanced, but I'm just letting my mind wander, right? It's known that Uranus doesn't really care for Saturn, because Uranus wants new all the time and wants to break barriers and break tradition and build. But you cannot get an iPhone without a Nokia. You had to have the original. So having that original foundation paves the pathway for more art that stems off of that to build and to build and to morph and to transfer and to take this idea and to put it into this. Like, building things can be amazing. So let's get back to that same concept. Now that we've understand building things is on the same level as designing, architectural, all these things. If you really want to search into like architectural beauty, I would check out what's called Chitra Nakshatra. It's Chitra, and Nakshatra is actually like I'm sure if you type it in and put Vedic, Vedic, it'll come up with understanding the nakshatra. But it talks about how like architecture is basically beauty or design depending on the creator, depending on the craftsman. So anyway, now that we went on to that path, I want to bring it back in and bring the purpose of this, okay? Building can be absolutely beautiful. And building is on the same level as discipline. So when you are in the process of trying to figure yourself out, remember that it is absolutely possible for you to have fun while you're being disciplined. And I want to give you just this idea in your mind. Think of yourself as a kid, okay? This is another placement I have in my my Rossi, my original birth chart. Think of yourself as a kid, and you are kind of playing house or playing like, I don't know, school or whatever you're doing as a child, right? And you're in your own little world and you're imagining things and you're putting things together and you're creating and you're creating and you're creating. Or if you were like me, you not only did that, but you also became obsessed with The Sims, where you started to build things and create relationships between your Sims. Well, all of that was building, designing, creating, and being playful. And if you can just kind of see that as something beautiful, instead of something that's like, ugh, now I gotta get up this morning and I gotta go to the gym. Ugh, now I gotta go put away my dishes. Ugh, now I gotta go organize my closet. If you can see the opportunity of being able to do things the way you want to do, right? We love our parents. Some of us have had amazing childhoods. Some of us haven't. But when you look at the reality of it, adulting is a gift. The ability to be present in your adult stages is a very amazing opportunity to build whatever life that you wish that you could have had at childhood or what you want to be. And that indeed can be absolutely fun. It is 100% up to all of us as adults to take responsibility of how we want to see our lives, right? And one thing that I'm reading, the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I love that he said, is that whenever you're trying to focus on like physical health, then you're gonna focus on the physical body, right? But when you focus on wealth, that's all up here. That's knowledge. That's how your body responds after thinking about something versus making decisions out of emotion, or even learning from making decisions out of emotion exactly how that put you on the meter, right? But ultimately, it's all supposed to be as fun as you make it. And the more that you continue to add and build onto whatever your life is bringing you, the more opportunities that you have to utilize the resources coming into your life to create that beauty, to create and build that treehouse that you've always wanted. So just a fun message for you guys. All right, got cut off, but just a fun message for you guys so you guys can like process discipline so much differently. And I don't know, it came to my mind as well. Like, just think of like, okay, if I want this type of body, I have the ability to create architecture, right? So I have to create it, make it fun, it's discipline, but make it fun, right? And also like, oh, I've got a newfound energy into my life. I don't know, maybe it's children. Maybe it is, I don't know, you've got a new job, whatever have you. Make it fun, like build it into your life into a way to make it fun. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Saturn actually just got out of retrograde, either the 27th or the 28th, according to wherever you are in the world. Again, I actually celebrate Vedic astrology, so it wasn't Pisces. So wherever Pisces in your Vedic chart, check to see where wherever Pisces is in your Vedic chart, check to see where that is, and that's probably going to be where you've had that transit. But then also check out where you have Saturn in your chart in general. And again, I've done Western astrology for so many years, and I'm not saying it's not accurate, But I am going to say that if you really want to get super descriptive and you don't want like a diluted version and you want to get in there more microscopic, I definitely would suggest for you to go the Vedic route as well. It will give you so much information. Western is a wonderful entry, but you can go into it and understand the depths of all the different divisional charts. You can learn things and see how they all connect. It is phenomenal. But I will tell you, this is such a cool season because I realize that I indeed do have fun. I'm just disciplined. And when I don't feel disciplined is when I'm not having fun. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.